Hello everyone! Thank you all so much for joining me here today. And I think we're starting to run out of things to talk about as we wait for the next patch of 5.3 to come out. I still stand by my belief that if this is going to be the closing for the story of Shadowbringers, then it is not something that needs to be rushed, but God, I am dying to know what happened, you know? It's just torture waiting. I can be so patient about some things, other things, it's just driving me crazy. Anyway, to keep myself occupied, I spend my time thinking up other videos to keep myself from brooding on it for the time being. So, the last time that we did get a patch released, it was back on February 18th, which was over 4 months ago. And we still don't have a clear release date just yet for this next patch. They did promise us that they will be releasing that in the next letter from the producer. However, the live letter has been canceled. We found out about that not long ago. And instead they're just going to be putting up a kind of a long letter, and they're going to be putting that up on all the forums, just giving us a heads up. And hopefully they will release a trailer with that information. I'm not sure about that yet. It wouldn't surprise me if they did remove that for the time being, but I'm still going to be holding on to my hope that we at least get a trailer. I am just dying to know more about what's going on. But until we get even just a release date from the letter from the producer, we won't be getting any more answers for the time being. But most people seem to be struggling to find reasons to keep playing right now, since we are having a bit of a content drought. Most of my friends and my free company members have been offline for a while, and it's starting to get pretty lonely, if you ask me. At least on my server. So if you happen to be online, just try looking me up. I would love to have you for a friend. In order to keep myself entertained, I decided to come up with a list of things to do to keep ourselves busy in the game, at least until we get some more information. So please sit back, enjoy, review, as we look into more of what we can be doing until patch 5.3 comes out. So in honor of Final Fantasy XIV, I actually was able to come up with 14 different ideas. So number 1, complete everything tied in. So this is number 1 on my list because it is the most important one. You can't really do anything in patch 5.3 until you do this one, actually. So I cannot stress enough that you need to complete a certain number of content to be able to unlock all the new content that's waiting for us. And that's especially for the main scenario quest line, which will be closing out the story for Shadowbringers, so you have to catch up through 5.2. And they did state that it is now mandatory to complete not only the Crystal Tower questline, but you have to unlock your Chocobo mount, My Little Chocobo. There's also going to be the next part of The Sorrows Are Wired. The next part of the Dark Apocalypse is coming up as well, so you have to run through at least the Copied Factory to be able to go through the next raid, which I think is called Puppet's Bunker. And I also recommend at least doing a couple of resistance weapons if you really don't have much more to do. I mean, if you don't want to do all the weapons for the Blades of Brunhilde, you don't have to. I recommend that you complete at least 1, maybe 2. But that leads to another important task. Number 2. Improving gear and weapons. Now, collecting tomestones and improving your gear, as with the resistance weapons, will make things a lot easier when patch 5.3 comes around. So if you don't want to get the weapons from the Savage Trials or Ultimate Trials, I would strongly recommend that you go for 1 or 2 resistant weapons at the very minimum. I also recommend trying to run through the Copied Factory at least once a week. Now, for longtime players of the game, you should probably know about this already, but every week when you run through these special raids, you end up getting one of these coins, which you can then exchange for items that can improve your gear later on. And there's no reason why that's going to be stopping now, so going by the history of the Alliance raids, you will be able to exchange them for items that will improve both your accessories, your weapons, and your gear. So in this case, it's Crystarium gears. So by doing the farming now and earning the coins here, you don't need to worry about doing it later, and instead can focus on the Puppet's Bunker. Number 3. Completing any Trials, Extreme, or Savage battles. Now, we have a lot of free time to spend, and they might not be such a bad thing if you really want to get down and do some ultimate raids. Now, finding the right group that not only knows all the mechanics and knows what they're doing, but actually wants to sit down and work hard for a clear, that sometimes isn't easy. This can actually help pass the time as you work to finally get that goal of defeating that enemy, and at least gives you the bragging rights to say that you at least got that far. Number 4. Guild collecting. I mean, if the Udons know anything, it's that money talks. So this is a good time to actually be collecting and saving up your guild, because as soon as 5.3 comes around, we're going to be getting a whole lot of new items. That includes new gear, new weapons, new housing items, and so much more. So it's good to start saving up now so that you can spend it later and get all the fun stuff then. Number 5. Level up your jobs. I mean, I think at this point, I think a lot of people have just run out of jobs to level up. I mean, if you're a perfectionist like me, and you have to see like the straight 80 across the board, then you probably already finished up leveling all your jobs a long time ago. But in case you haven't, here's your chance to really try out for another job and see what you think of that. And besides, I think a lot of people want to earn their Amaro mounts. How can you not love them? They are so cute. Number 6. Complete the Palace of the Dead and Heavens on High. Now, they did state that they weren't planning on having another deep dungeon for this expansion, but if you are struggling to level up, this is a really good way to do so. It's going to be a long struggle, and it's not for the faint of heart. It's going to take several hours at least to be able to complete the hardest parts of these deep dungeons, but if you really want to get to the end just to say that you did, now's a good time to do so since you have all that free time. Number 7. Farming mounts has always been a good time-honored tradition with endgame players. Whether that you do pony farming, bird farming, dog farming, or dragon farming, now is a really good time to really focus on getting a good group together and earning those extra mounts. Number 8. Crafting for the Ishgardian Restoration rewards. Even if you aren't the biggest fan of crafting or gathering, the Ishgardian Restoration is a great way to be able to level up your crafters and gatherers and earn some scripts to trade away for cool prizes. Maybe even save up for a little bit extra for the next step in the restoration so you'll be able to get the new toys when they come out right away. Number 9. Do Blue Mage content. Now, Blue Mages may not be everyone's favorite job, but it certainly is something different. Everything from collecting new spells, running through the Mass Carnival, to completing dungeons and trials will be just one step closer to getting you closer to mastering the art of blue magic, and also earn your marble mount. Number 10. Clear out your side quests. I think that a lot of people have already cleared out their side quests, but on the off chance that you didn't bother with it, accepting side quests is a good way to spend your time, as well as unlocking endgame content. Now, lots of endgame content. In fact, I think just about all of them, like the raids and trials or Beast Tribe dailies, can only be unlocked through these side quests, whereas a lot of the other stuff can just lead to a good old-fashioned story and learning more lore about the area that you're in. Number 11. Spend more time on Glamouring. With all this free time, you actually have time to actually trade out that tired-looking gear and find some new combinations and colors that work for you. You into role-playing or cosplaying? Go for it, I'm not judging. I think that you will want your character to be looking ready to take on the world by the time that 5.3 comes out, because otherwise they might look a little bit silly. Number 12. Moogle Tomes. Everyone's favorite time of the year is here, with us collecting the Moogle Tomes from certain dungeons and raids is back. But hey, if you want to earn yourself some nice new prizes and all that, even if it's super annoying, it is a very good time to be able to get that stuff done. Besides, the Moogle Treasure Trove will be going away with the release of patch 5.3, so if there's something that you see right now that you really want, now is the only time to get it, so better get to that. Number 13. Collecting, whether that be minions, orchestrion rolls, etc. Now, if you're an avid collector, like myself, then you can go out there and complete your collection. You don't want to go and spend all your hard-earned coin from the market boards, then go out on a new mission to collect them the good old-fashioned honest way. If nothing else, you'll have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the full collection and that you worked hard to earn it. Number 14. Find something fun to do. I mean, I think this goes without saying, but if this means collecting some maps and diving down to collect some rare loot, or if it means running across the wilds and hoping that you don't get killed, playing music in Limsa Square and drawing a crowd, or maybe just meeting with a few online friends or helping some newbies out, that's all up to you. It's a game. You're supposed to be having fun here. Alright, so I think that's going to be it for now. Now, this isn't a list of things that you have to do or things that must be done. I mean, aside from suggestion number 1, but this is just an idea of things that will keep you busy or entertained. These are just suggestions. This is just a way I think that if you want to spend your time in the world of Final Fantasy XIV, this is just a collection of things to do as we wait for 5.3. Which we still don't have a freaking release date yet. But I digress. I really am hopeful that when they have the next patch, something really special is going to be making up for this lore drought that we're suffering through right now. So if you have any ideas or things to do, then please feel free to share it down below. Maybe I missed something. But until next time, everyone, take care, look after yourselves, and hopefully I will see you all in the Duty Finder sometime. So until then, take care.